Kelly Szolek from South Range. Kelly, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today.
Hi, thank you guys so much for having me.
Well, Kelly, what I always like to first and foremost ask the students is just season experience. After the last 2 years that we've had, it's been crazy in the baseball, softball world. We're kind of back to a normality. What's been this year been like for you?
You know, I did lose my freshman season because of COVID, so it's been great being able to have my sophomore season and then now my junior season. The biggest thing, I think, without COVID is just being able to be together and be close. And, you know, we went down to Myrtle Beach and we were able to stay together and do a lot more things with togetherness.
You miss your freshman season, so you have to come in your sophomore season. And I imagine this South Range program is kind of intimidating to just come into, right? I mean, with the prestige that it has and the success that it has had, what was it like to just kind of step into a role as a starting catcher and just try to live up to the standards of South Range softball?
Yeah, in my sophomore season, because I didn't have my freshman season, it was like we basically had two classes of freshmen. But our seniors last year made it great to just kind of step in, and we felt right at home. And Bree and Jillian were great, and we were lucky to have like amazing success last year.
Being the starting catcher now for 2 seasons and going from catching Bree last year to catching the dynamic duo, I would say, I guess, for this year. What are some of the biggest things you learned and the differences in all 3 pitchers, and how have you had to adjust to be fit each one of the pitchers specifically?
Yeah, Bree obviously having a lot of success at YSU right now, but Sam and Julie are great too. I think they're all very similar. We got some good speed, some good spin from the staff. But I also think that they complement each other well. So I think we really have a good staff that can keep opponents off balance.
And you got the chance this year to catch both those pitchers who are kind of stepping into a bigger role in the circle this year. Talk about how you were able to build their confidence and how you manage this pitching staff at South Range.
Because we're all juniors, not only are we at softball together, but we're in class together. So I see them throughout the day, and we've been able to just build really great relationships, and I trust them on the mound. And I think that they trust me behind the plate. So we've been able to get a lot of work done and have a lot of success.
It's a quick turnaround for you trying to step into this leadership role going into the season. Because like you said, you didn't have a freshman year. Who were some of those kind of role models that you looked up to personally? And what was it about them that you really looked up to on that team from sophomore season?
I mean, of course, we had Bree and Jillian, and I'm not a pitcher, but Bree was just a great role model. And our seniors last year, they really made you want to play for them and want to win for them. And then this year as well, we still have our seniors, and we want to make sure that we play well going into this tournament so that we can give them the sending off that they deserve and hopefully make it deep into this tournament.
We've talked about your catching, but we got to talk about your bat too, because you're having a phenomenal season at the plate. What's been working so well for you in the batter's box, and how are you seeing the ball so well?
Honestly, it's mostly been mentality. I go to hitting lessons. I go to Erin Gabriel, who is very well known around the area. And she's been great for not only the technical side of hitting, but just giving me tips on my mentality and really just having confidence when I get in the box and knowing that I can hit any pitch that's thrown at me and just attacking that ball.
We've had somewhat of a knack of getting some 4.0 students on. And if I'm not mistaken, you're another one of them. Talk to me about balancing that of having a 4.0 GPA and sustaining that while also being involved in athletics as you are. How do you kind of manage that?
School always comes first for me. Without school, softball isn't possible. So I come home from softball, I'm doing my homework. I use softball as an instrument to hopefully continue my academic success. I want to go to college to play softball, but at the end of the day, school comes first, and softball can be used to help me get education.
When you hear Kelly Szolek, first team All-Ohio, how does that make you feel?
I remember Coach DeRose calling me and telling me that I had made first team All-Ohio, and I was like, oh my God. Last year, I was honorable mention, so this year I was really able to set that goal for myself to be first team, but that wasn't possible without all the things that go on behind the scene, and I'm lucky to have the support of my teammates and the support of my coaches, and I'm very lucky to have a head coach that goes to that district meeting and goes to the state meeting and really advocates for us to get those awards.
It's always nice seeing student athletes reach for a goal and be able to accomplish it in a season. But now that we got this one knocked off the list, I got to ask, what are some other goals in the sport of softball as well as outside of the sport for Kelly Szolek in the future?
Yeah, so in this season, of course, our goal is to be back where we were at last year. I know there's been a lot of speculation on whether we'd be able to do that or not, but I think we just need to take it one game at a time to hopefully get back to where we were and reach that goal for ourselves. And then outside of school or outside of softball with school, I just want to continue to have academic success. I want to go to college, hopefully study law, get into law school, and just be able to create a good career for myself.
You talked about the work that you've put in behind the scenes, and I'm wondering, from last year to this year in the off season and gearing up for this season, what was one thing that you really worked on improving in your game between last year to this year that you really just like drove home? And now that you're, almost into the season, you got the stats, you got the All Ohio, and you're probably really proud that you put in that work and improved yourself on doing it.
The biggest thing that I had to work on was my arm strength as a catcher. Since I was young, I've always been a very technical catcher with framing and blocking and all that stuff, but my arm strength has always been where I had to improve. So, my dad, he drives me insane sometimes, but he put me on a weighted ball throwing program, and we were able to just really build that arm strength and start throwing some runners out this year.
I want to talk about Myrtle Beach a little bit, and this is actually going to be a two-part question. With the success that you guys had down in Myrtle Beach, do you think that helped with the older players' confidence in getting this team back to that point they were at last season? And also, do you think that those kind of trips are impactful for those freshman players in becoming acclimated with the team, from your viewpoint, of course?
I think that Myrtle Beach was definitely able to give us some confidence, the returning players. We go down there to Myrtle Beach and we play great competition and we're able to win those games. So it really shows us that we can play with anyone and people from all across the country and from other states. And then for the freshmen and the younger players coming in, I think the trip is really great for them too, not only to get some playing time and gain some confidence, but also the social aspect. They really get to jive with the team and learn that we're not big scary people. We just want to be their teammates and be there to help them.
So you talked about arm strength, and I just want to give a shout out to this number. You have thrown out 60% of the runners that try to steal on you this year.
Yes, that was really a big thing that I tried to work on in the off season last year. I threw out a couple, but it really wasn't where I wanted to be at. So I'm glad that I was able to reach that goal this year.
16 runners caught down, only one error all season. How much pride do you really take in the defensive gritty work of the catcher that really probably goes unnoticed, and a lot of people don't look at numbers like that?
Yeah, a lot of people love offense. They love to get that offensive glory, but I love to play defense. If I'm having a bad day at the plate, I know I can always trust myself to go behind the plate and make a difference if I can't do it offensively. So I'm really happy that I can contribute defensively.
Anthony and I were having this discussion yesterday, so take us in the locker room. Did this softball game against Cardinal Mooney mean a little bit more to Coach Rose going into this one last night? And were practices and the talks a little bit more, I don't want to say intense, but a little bit more focused going into this one?
Coach Rose is always very intense no matter who we play, but he did want to win this game. We knew that they were absolutely good enough to beat us if we did not play well. So we had to really make sure that we were locked in playing our game and got the win.
Take us inside the dugout last night, because they scored first and they kind of put you guys on their toes. But you came right back in the first inning and you ran some offense. And then, man, Julie Stakowicz, the game she pitched after giving up that home run especially. Just from your perspective, one, what was working so well for Julie? And then what were some of the conversations in that dugout after they hit the home run and you guys had to bounce back?
Yeah, Julie was fantastic last night. 16 strikeouts. I'm very proud of her. What was really working, she's left-handed, so her screwball goes to the outside. So we were throwing a lot outside, and the umpire was giving us the outside corner, so we kept hammering it all night long, and it was working. But after they scored that that home run, we knew that we were going to be able to score. So we weren't too worried. We knew that we would be able to put runs on the board.
Being one of the upperclassmen of this team, what would you say are this team's keys to victory night to night? What are the things this team needs to do well to almost always come out victorious?
To win, we just need to stay locked in. We have a couple games where we're not really playing like ourselves. We don't hit, we make errors. We just need to stay focused on the game at hand and win it.
All right, Kelly, I want to get some rapid fire questions in to get to know you a little bit off the field since we've gotten to know you so well on the field during this interview. I will start with, if you could have any animal for a pet, what would you want?
A panda.
What is one mythical creature that doesn't exist that you wish did?
A unicorn.
What is your favorite thing about being a softball player?
My favorite thing about being a softball player is just the team camaraderie and being able to play with my best friends.
All right, with you and your dad, who's more competitive?
I would say it's a tie. He is very competitive, and I think he's passed that down to me, and we can really go at it sometimes because we're both so competitive.
Who wins at family game night?
Me.
What's the best game that you're like you know when they pull this one out, you got it?
I love to play spoons, and I yank that spoon and make sure I get one.
What is one thing that you know now that you wish you knew earlier?
One bad game isn't going to kill you. Softball is a game of up and downs, and you can come back from anything.
Describe your pregame playlist.
My pregame playlist, it's some hype up music, but I just like to listen to what I would usually listen to on a normal day. I don't like to get too hype.
Take us through the normal game day routine for you.
So if it's a home game, we get down to the field, we hit, and then we always have to sit or hit in the same order. That is my superstition. So
it seems like a team superstition. Like one person could throw that whole thing off. Do you have any other superstitions with the softball?
When I take off my jewelry to play, I always put it in my shoe, and it has to be the same shoe.
That's not uncomfortable?
Like I put it in like the croc that I'm not wearing.
Okay, I see.
Yes.
Who is the teammate that can make you laugh the most?
Probably Sam. She gets me laughing.
What teammate has the most swagger on the team?
Julie definitely has the most swagger. She looks like she just wants to mow those girls down when she's pitching.
She did last night, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Who is one girl on the team that is the best dancer?
I don't know. I'd say I feel like Jamie has some moves. She doesn't show it a lot, but I feel like she has some hidden moves.
Who gets the loudest in the dugout?
Definitely Julie.
Who is one teammate? What teammate do you text the most?
I'm in like my little junior group chat, so we text a lot in there. It's me, Julie, Sam, Jamie, and Hannibal.
Who is your best friend in the softball world that does not wear the South Range uniform?
Tori Long of Columbiana.
Talk about your travel team and what your favorite memory with them in the summer is.
So yeah, my travel team, I play for Thunder League Premier 18U and a lot of area talent on there. There's Tori, there's Alyssa Sheely from Ursuline, and there's some other girls from throughout. But yeah, we play great competition. I think it really prepares us for our high school seasons and if we play after high school. My favorite memories with them is just our hotel stays and kind of meeting up in someone's hotel room and just sharing some laughs there.
What is one thing that you spend a lot of money on that you probably should?
Clothes. I work at American Eagle, so I spend all of my paycheck there.
What was your last impulse buy?
Clothes from American Eagle.
On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being like supremely clean and 1 being you can't find anything, how clean is your room right now?
It's about a 2 or a 3. My mom always yells at me because she puts my laundry in my room and I never put it away. It just sits there in piles.
At least it's not a 1. Kelly, before we let you go, I want to give you the chance to thank your support system, the people that are always there for you, and the people that you wouldn't be where you are without.
Yes. Thank you to all of my coaches. You guys have done so much for me during my time, and not only my coaches at South Range, but also outside of South Range with travel and individual lessons. Thank you to all of my teammates. You guys have always been so supportive of me and helped me get to where I'm at today. And also thank you to my family. Even though we fight sometimes, I know you guys are always there for me when I need it.
Kelly, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. Good luck the rest of the season. We hope this tournament run goes as long as you guys can possibly carry it. And we look forward to talking to you again real soon.
Great. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.